Good morning, folks. I'm feeling very tired. We're here on our last morning in Thulusdhoo. God, I can never remember the name. I've got exactly 2 minutes to get downstairs at the hotel. It's 6:45 a.m. and we're going to catch a ferry to Malé or maybe Malé. I'm not clear where the ferry is going yet. We've got no plans today. I've got no hotel booked. I've got no idea where I'm going. I've got no accommodation. I've got no flight. Nothing. So today could be an interesting one, to say the least. We're already having a good start because I was meant to be down here at 6:45 for a little buggy to take me to the jetty for the ferry, which is at 7 a.m. I've been waiting 5 minutes and there's no sign of it. Now ordinarily 5 minutes would not be obviously an issue, but that means I'm 5 minutes closer to the ferry, which is now in 10 minutes, and there's no way that I can walk there in 10 minutes. So I don't know whether to wait it out or start walking. There's not seemingly anyone around at the hotel, so I'm a little bit you know, I like to travel with no plans, with no bookings in advance, things like that. I'm sure it probably makes it all the more entertaining, but sometimes I do wish that I could be a little bit more organised, because things like this, I mean, to be fair, this is out of my control. You know, I was up on time. I'm where I'm meant to be at the time I'm meant to be there, and it's 10 minutes, and the taxi or the buggy is not there. I just hope I don't miss the ferry. Thankfully, it is early enough on in the day. It gives me some options. However, I was told by the hotel that this is the only local ferry of the day. If I miss this one, then I'm going on a private speedboat. Well, not the private, but going on the speedboat. To put that into context, the local ferry is $3, I think, whereas the speedboat is $25. So the whole reason why I'm up early is to get the local one for a local experience and obviously a local price, not to pay $25 and start what should probably already be an expensive day. Right, 7:01. I'm not quite there yet. I'm probably another 5 minutes walk, so by all accounts, if the ferry's leaving on time, I've missed it. I mean, alright, there's a queue of people waiting, so it looks like I'm potentially okay. No buggies have gone past me, so whatever happened to that ferry transfer that the hotel told me to be up at 6:45 for. So learn the lesson from me. Now, obviously, if you're staying at a fancy resort or something, I'm sure you'll be fine, but for me, I think that might be the ferry. Get up a little bit earlier, because so far it's not gone to plan. Right, so we're off the ferry. So it was very long. It was more like 2 hours than an hour and a half, but it was pretty smooth, not too bumpy. Just get your earphones in and relax, read a book or something. But we're in Malé now, so it has brought us to Malé, not Malé. And the first thing I need to do is obtain coffee. So my plan was to spend the day in Malé, hopefully get a hotel here, and then explore a little bit. There are some places here that I want to go and take a look around. However, yeah, booking.com and Agoda were not showing me very good options, I won't lie. Very basic accommodation with mixed reviews, and indiscriminate prices as well. Seems to be the theme from what I can see with Malé, that the value is not particularly fantastic. From what I understand, the cost of property here, being the main city where most of the employment is very high, and as a result that trickles down then into the costs of the likes of accommodation. So I think you're looking, the cheapest thing you'll find here really for a night, from what I can see anyway, especially if you're not booking far in advance, you're probably talking £60, it's about like $75, which if you consider I was paying $50 on a tropical island, it's expensive. So we'll sit down in a second, we'll figure out a plan, whether that be a flight or whether it be just biting the bullet and just booking something here. But either way, we'll be flying out today or tomorrow. I was contemplating whether to get a flight to India, but when I had a look on Skyscanner there weren't any. So yeah, things always have a way of working out, as you've seen, but so far at the minute it kind of feel a little bit lost, I won't lie. I was expecting things at first to be pretty quiet. However, today is Sunday, and that's again why I was expecting it to be quiet. But in this part of the world, the week is a bit different. So for us in the likes of the UK or the US or Australia, our working week would typically start on a Monday. But here in Asia, in the Maldives, the working week starts on a Sunday. And so I have been told that Malé is incredibly busy, very densely populated, and you kind of get a glimpse of it here. I mean, look at just the sheer number of bikes parked up. It goes all the way down, all in the little side streets, so I can imagine that when rush hour comes, it's pretty manic. Right now it doesn't seem so bad, but probably because everyone's at work already. Scooters everywhere, wow. I reckon it must be quite the sight here at rush hour. The streets must get absolutely chocker. One thing that was said to me about Malé as well, it's very humid, because you've got all these big buildings, and so the heat kind of gets trapped down at street level, so walking around with a bag all day might not be the most fun. We're on our way at the minute to this place, Meraki Coffee Roasters. I just brought it up on Google. It was the one with the most reviews, so hopefully it'll be a place where I can actually sit down, get the laptop out and have a little look. It does seem though, just walking around, that there's plentiful supply of options in terms of restaurants, coffee shops, just generally places to snap and eat. Compared to the islands in the Maldives, like the resort islands, and obviously the island that we've just been on, this is incredibly developed. It's interesting though, I'm liking it already so far. I like the vibe, I like the feel of it. Kind of reminds me a little bit of maybe like when you go to Malaysia and you go to Penang, like Georgetown, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's got a nice feel to it. And again, so many bikes. I wonder like how people in the morning, they come to, you know, park. It must be a challenge, you know, if you're riding around it to find a parking space. You know, if you're 5 minutes late for work, you end up 45 minutes late for work because you couldn't park the bike anywhere. Queue for the dentist. I'm actually really liking the vibe of it so far, actually. I've only been here for 5 minutes, but just walking around, it's a super interesting place. There's a lot going on, there's a lot of energy. And there's, you know, like I say, a lot of places where you can go to eat and shop. I mean, look, like, it's always nice when you've been on an island to come back to some level of civilization, you know. Yeah, it's always a strange experience when you come back and you see big shops like this. Hey, could I get a cappuccino, please? Look at this great little setup. We've got Wi-Fi, we've got our coffee, which looks incredible. We even got a little note talking about the blend. I'm very impressed. Meraki. Fantastic coffee. Right, so I've just booked this one. It says here $61. Now when you actually go through to click on it, what you'll find is the price ends up being more because you've got these taxes. And so here it's $85. I just booked it through my phone for £67, so it's not cheap. But hopefully the place is nice at least. That'll do us for one night. That gives us time to go and explore the area around here, find a flight for tomorrow. And yeah, so at least now we get to explore and enjoy Malé, and I'm kind of happy for that. I would think I would be a bit disappointed if I were to leave and to not got to experience the place, because it looks like a fun place, you know. So let's get to our booking and continue our day. I think I'm going to have another coffee first though. That coffee in there was fantastic. I ended up having 2 of them. I didn't see what my bill was, but I think it may have been quite expensive. I think it was around $14 US, which, yeah, is incredibly expensive. But the coffee was fantastic. And now we're going to head on to our hotel, which is called the Hotel Flora Inn. Apparently it's only 2 minutes away from here. So we'll check in there. Hopefully I can check in at least anyway. At minimum drop the bag off. And then we'll go for a little wander around the city. I think we're going to head to the fish market. The guys in the coffee shop are recommending that as an interesting spot. But generally, you know what it's like on this channel. We'll just walk, we'll meander, and we'll just see what's around. This one is us here, the Flora Inn. Again, it's definitely a bit of a squeeze down these roads. Make it before this car. Is this us? Yep. Okay, let's check in first. Yeah, the place looks really nice. The lady's just checking some people out, so hopefully now we can check in. We'll get into the room and then we'll go explore. It's very hot.
Soon, sir.
Perfect, thank you so much. Thank you, bye-bye. Right, so we're in the room. Now,
The thing that I've learned so far in Malé, for the short time that I've been here, accommodation wise, the choices are fewer, I would say. Maybe that's because I'm booking kind of last minute, and the prices are, yeah, they're way more expensive than your typical hotel costs in most of Asia. And I'm basing that on kind of like for like, not in terms of, you know, you can't get expensive hotels in India or Sri Lanka. Of course you can, but I'm talking like for like, quality wise. The price here is way more than what it would be anywhere else. Like, for instance, the room that I'm in at the minute, it's costing me 67, 65 pounds. What's that, like $85 for the night? That's incredibly expensive and is way more than I would normally pay. You know, for example, in Sri Lanka, I was paying like 10, 15 pounds per night on average, sometimes a bit less, sometimes a little bit more, but kind of always really in that range. Here in the Maldives, here in Malé in particular, I've not been able to find anything even close to that. On the islands, you know, when you're out by the beach or whatever, you kind of expect to pay a bit more. You know, you're in the Maldives at the end of the day. But I was thinking that in the city, I would perhaps find, I don't know, maybe like a hostel or a local guest house. Doesn't seem to be the case, at least for a last minute booking. So my recommendation, if you're going to come to the Maldives and you're planning to stay in Malé either at the beginning or the end of your trip, I would book in advance. That's probably going to give you the best choice of places to stay at the best price. That's what I would imagine. But yeah, if you're going to come, don't expect too much in the way of budget places. So I could have got somewhere a little bit cheaper today, but when you're talking about, again, I always judge things on quality and value. You know, so by value, I can get a place that's cheaper, but it might be a disaster, might be very uncomfortable to stay there, whereas I pay a little bit more and the stay is much better. So that's kind of where I judge things. I judge it on value rather than price per se. But yeah, at the minute, I'm happy with where I'm staying. There's no breakfast included, which is pretty wild considering the price. But it looks like I'm going to have a comfortable stay. And now we can head out and we'll go and explore Malé.